Hi there, and welcome to Reflections with Rhonda Jones. And my beautiful daughter in law is my co host, Monica Livingston. And we have a lovely pair to my left here, mother and daughter duo. Please state your names.
Kimberly.
Kathy.
Kimberly and Kathy. All right. Today is Mother's Day, and we all wish every mother a happy Mother's Day. And, you know, Mother's Day is not always happy for everyone, and we do take that into consideration. And so, you know, we want to let you know that if today is unhappy, either your mom maybe just passed away recently, or you may not have very happy experiences, you know, in your mind concerning your mother. We can understand that, and we feel you. And so, but we're happy today, and so we hope you can feel us. And we're going to get started with some Mother's Day trivia. Okay?
Oh,
Kimberly.
all right. Well, you gotta be patient with me here. I didn't know we were starting with Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mother's Day was first celebrated by Anna Jarvis in 1908. She succeeded in petitioning to have it a national holiday in 1914, and by 1920 was sorry she had because it had already been so commercialized. So it didn't take long.
Wow.
And Reader's Digest has their top 10 pick for mother movies. So I thought maybe if you guys have seen it, y'all could chime in, or if you think of a mother movie that might be more appropriate. They have listed The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. Y'all seen that? I have. I can't comment on that one.
That's a good one.
Erin Brockovich.
Yeah. Parts of it.
I wouldn't. She's a little too strong-willed for me to say she was a mother role model. She was Iron Spine there. The Joy Luck Club.
Missed that
Never
one.
seen it.
Missed
That's
it.
a good one. If you want to sit down and cry for a while. Joy Luck Club. It's a good movie. Still Magnolias.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great one.
That's a
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's number one in my book.
Has anybody seen the new one?
No.
No,
I haven't seen the remake,
I'd like
no.
to
Oh,
see
I'd
it.
like to see it too, just to see their take on it.
Whose take?
Well, I mean, it's all done, from more of, the African American culture versus
Oh, that's right. That's right.
down south white chicks.
Yeah,
Let's
I gotcha.
just go there.
Terms of Endearment.
Long
Very
time
good
ago.
film.
Seen
Very
it.
good film.
I want to see that.
Mr. Mom
Loved.
and Freaky Friday.
Didn't see that.
No.
I saw it, but it's been so long ago. All I could remember is Jamie Lee Curtis.
And they have Mommy Dearest listed for I don't know what
Yeah,
reason.
we
That was a
don't- we were-
horrible.
That's bad.
Love
That's a
this-
horrible
I love
film.
the movie though.
Okay, so just any other suggestions for good mom movies that Reader's Digest failed to mention?
Don't Throw Mom Off the Train. What about that one? Did y'all see that one?
I was trying to think of any others.
Have y'all seen the one with Sally Field and she's dying of cancer and they call in all the family? I think it's 4 of them, maybe 3 boys and a girl, something like that. And they each go through their own take on Sally Field as the mother. It's
No,
so
I have to see that.
powerful.
Wow.
I can't remember. I don't
Can't
know what
remember it
it's
either.
called. But Google it. It's awesome.
I'll have
Awesome.
to check that one out. That
Right.
sounds good.
You know, because each child, if you have 4 children, they look at their mom differently.
Sure.
And so that's what these did. And each memory was different. And, and then you can see how the siblings took positions. The girl tried to be the surrogate mother, and then the guy, they're detached a little bit. And it's just powerful, psychological type movie. Really is.
I
That
could
sounds
see
good,
that
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Wish I could remember the name, but doggone it.
I'll see
So,
if I can find it.
what about y'all? Can y'all think of?
I'm not much of a movie buff.
Mm.
I mean, real life's enough movie for me.
That's true. That is true. Well, Kimberly, do you have any other?
That was it for.
Okay.
That was short, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by 1920, Mother's Day,
It
it
had been
seems.
commercialized and sensationalized, and she regretted that. That's sad. That's so sad.
Well, I'm surprised by that it didn't take very long to commercialize it. But is it really commercialized, or are they just giving us good ideas to celebrate our mom with? You can kind of look at it both ways. I
Yeah.
mean, like the flower industry, do moms love flowers? Most moms do. So they're just giving us choices to, that's the way my spin is on it.
Okay.
And cards, if you want to give your mom a card, I guess you can make it.
Why
But
can't you just write it? Write a note to Mom on a piece of paper with a pen.
you could.
And that's always meant more to me than a card.
You're right.
It's something that my children put together just for me,
Yeah.
decorated it.
Did they give you a card this year?
No, I didn't.
No,
No.
because you knew your mom really didn't care about the card, right?
And I didn't have time to make one.
My mom
She
always
gave me a
says.
lovely gift, though.
Oh, see, yeah. Show us what you got from your family, the son-in-law and
It's,
daughter-in-law. I mean,
a
daughter.
heart with the word Mom inside of the heart, and then earrings to match.
Very
So I was very surprised, and I got a good daughter,
Yes, you do.
one of the
Yes,
best.
you do. And son-in-law, they
Oh,
they
gosh,
both.
yeah.
I'm not. I knew you weren't leaving them out, but I'm saying they're a good team. They really look after your best interest. I mean,
They do.
you can't hardly find that nowadays. You can't do it.
I couldn't pay somebody to do what she does and
No
what Ricky
way.
does for me.
No way.
They're just,
And she's so patient
they
with
take
you.
such good care of me.
Well, that brings us to something that Monica came up with. Explain what you want the pairs to do.
Well, I thought it might be fun. Last year on Mother's Day, Rhonda had her mother, Nancy, here, and was able to do like a little kind of interview with her, just ask questions and talk about things, maybe, find out something you don't know about Mom, or, And so I thought it might be kind of interesting if we just kind of did a little impromptu interview with, like, our mother-in-law,
Okay.
or my mother-in-law, your mom.
Yeah.
So, would you like to start us off, or?
Well, no, I don't.
It's your idea. You go first.
This was your idea. You do it.
All right, Momo, come up with.
Oh goodness!
Some Zynga.
Now I'm like on the spot. Well, I guess let me see. Trying to think. It is kind of hard to come up with something on the spot. Craziest Mother's Day gift you think you've ever gotten? Like,
Well,
just kind of stuck out in your mind as like, oh my God, crazy. If you ever, you had boys, so
Oh, yeah.
I'm imagining sometimes you can get.
yeah. Well, that is a good question. I will say, this isn't crazy, but our son John Michael, he gave me some bird seed in my hand this afternoon right before the show, and he was like, "I'm sorry, that's all I could get you is the seed." I didn't even know what it was, and I looked at it. I said, "Are these sunflower seeds?" And he said, "No, they're bird seed," which I think they're sunflower seeds, but he said, "No, that's it, bird seed." And I said, "Well, okay, that's sweet of you, trying to go along." And then he said, "Just look out in the front yard when you get a chance." And so I did, and when I looked out there, it was the most beautiful bird feeder, and he knows my favorite color is red, and it's just one of my favorite, the favorite color, and it was gorgeous. And so I thought that was so sweet, but the bird seed in my hand was weird because I didn't have a clue. And then I would say probably what you gave me today was probably the weirdest thing that anybody's ever given me. It looks like some buttons with some old cheap wire wrapped around it.
Oh
So,
goodness!
Yeah. But anyway, I'm just joking, girl. This is beautiful, and I cherish that stuff.
goodness.
You know exactly what I like, and that's one thing about Momo. She
When I saw it, I did think of her. I didn't.
Yeah.
I kind of made it attach the clasp.
yeah.
But when I
sweet.
saw it, I thought, well, that would look. I think Rhonda would wear that, and it'd look pretty on Rhonda.
And she's exactly right.
So.
And I think all these years I've known her, I don't think I've ever given her anything for Mother's Day, but she's always given me something. So we'll have to do something about that. But anyway, so that's that's the first thing that came up in my mind was this bracelet and that bird seed. So maybe y'all have the same type of a story or
Well, I was going to
question.
ask, it's partially stealing Monica's question. What would be some of the things you gave to your mom for Mother's Day?
Oh,
Another generation back. Did you make
that
cards?
was that. I made her cards at times. Sometimes I would bake a cake, and my dad and brother and I would, share that day together. I'd cook, but nobody would eat it. So
What did she teach you how to cook? 'Cause
yeah,
I
she
sympathize
tried.
if that's-
She tried. Bless her heart. She could ruin a steak in a minute. I mean,
Aw.
she'd just cook it till it's burnt, and we had to chew through that quite a bit. So, but bless her heart, they did what they knew to do at that time, and that was the early 40s, late 40s, excuse me, early 50s, and they were.
Did you and Uncle Ted try to outdo each other, see who could get her the best present?
Yeah, we did. And then we decided to go in together and really fix it up.
That's when you start getting older and wiser.
Yeah. Yeah. And she would get her something. She wouldn't care for it, so we'd have to take it back.
Oh my goodness.
So it was a ordeal to buy anything for her. They grew up there in the Depression. And, some things were just not available. But I did give my mother cards. I sent flowers. But, yeah, I tried to make it a good Mother's Day. My mother passed away on a Mother's Day. And so it's still kind of a hard thing to adjust to.
Yeah.
But she's a lot better off. And I'll meet her soon.
Yeah.
What's something you remember giving your mom for Mother's Day? We'll use the same question.
How creative. Well, as a child, I don't have a lot of memories, but I just don't remember giving her much. But as an adult, we usually I always try to buy, I don't know why, but like sometimes I buy people stuff to wear, and I think I do that because like if I see them and I'm thinking, you know what, you really use some new clothes.
But I can't complain because the stuff she's giving me to wear is all pretty.
Yeah, she likes it, and then I think, oh, this would look so good, and it's usually something they wouldn't think really maybe to buy themselves, but I know it would look good on them. Not that I have a big high fashion sense, I don't, but I know other people and I can pin it on them. I can say that look good. And so usually I give her something like that. But I've never given her anything spectacular for Mother's Day or, she's really simple. And for God's sake, don't give her a card because she was like, you done got me this card. I can take this $3.50 and buy me 2 hamburgers, 2 McDoubles with it. I mean, she doesn't want you to spend money on the card. She'd rather have the hamburgers or whatever. And so I haven't given anything bizarre to her at all. But like I don't have anything to give her today or whatever, but I'll try to dodge her until tomorrow maybe. Until I buy something.
I remember as a kid, my daughter, it made me think of this because my daughter came home and they had in class, they'd taken a sheet of paper and I go and volunteer at the school and I sometimes grade the papers and stuff that they do, and you can always tell which writing is my daughter's because it's messy.
Yeah.
Even messier than most of the boys. And you can usually tell which paper's hers even if there's no name on it. So here's this paper, and it's just got this really pretty, very polished handwriting on it, and she's, made these nice, clear sentences about me as her mom, and, it's really pretty. And it brought back a memory of when I did something like that around Mother's Day one year. We had to write, actually, it may not have been for Mother's Day, now I think of it, but it was about my mom anyways. It was about who person you most look up to, and I said my mom, and I talked about how she was always such a busybody and doing stuff for other people I was a kid and I obviously didn't understand the meaning of busybody.
Wow.
So it was quite funny when my mom read it. She just busted out laughing, and here I'm thinking this is like this sweet thing. I'm talking all about how my mom does all this stuff
Yeah,
for other
somebody
people.
that's busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I'm in it.
sensible.
But
Yeah.
I learned later that's not quite what busybody meant.
That's cute.
So, anyways, but it made me, my daughter's thing made me think of that, not because she put anything like that in there, but, it was just made me think about the things we, say as kids that, and do for our parents, like the letters and the cards and when they write stuff to you, and it's cute.
Oh, that's nice.
What about you, Kimberly? What's something like maybe your children or husband or family or somebody gave you that? Well, just say what happened this morning. That was awesome.
Last night Sissy told me that I was going to like my Mother's Day present. So I said, okay. I hope it wasn't supposed to be a surprise. So usually I don't expect, breakfast in bed because it's Sunday and Rick's up here early working, getting stuff ready. And, he's usually all day long. He leaves at 8 in the morning. I don't see him till after 10 that night. So I wasn't really expecting anything except maybe, a dozen roses on the table or something. But he made me breakfast in bed, and he went and got Dunkin' Donut bagel and a cappuccino and fried up some bacon and scrambled eggs, and it was really sweet. And Sissy made me a card, and it says, "Mommy, you made me smile," and I started crying.
Oh yeah.
And I took off my glasses, and somehow they ended up on Rick's head. I lost them for a little while, but he put them up on top of his head. I guess so that they wouldn't get lost, but it was really sweet.
That is sweet. That's
And then when I
adorable.
went into the kitchen, there was a dozen roses and also tomato plants and pepper plants for my garden. So I was very
Wow.
excited.
Wow. My
And
goodness,
a little
you
miniature
raked up.
rose. So, yeah.
You did good.
Very nice. Yeah, I was very surprised. My oldest son didn't even get out of the bed, but
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do.
I wasn't expecting him
No,
to
you
either.
would have been really
I'll
shocked.
see him later on today. Or else he's dodging me like Rhonda's dodging you.
Just dodge her for a day or two. What, Mo, did Joey give you anything?
Well, him and the kids went out and, they got me a nice little cute card, and then it says something about Mom, you don't allow jumping on the furniture and yelling and screaming, and then it has this elephant because they know I like Alabama. Mascot's the elephant, Big Al, and it has this elephant jumping up and down on the bed and hollering, "You're the best, you're the best." So it was really cute. And then my husband, is an artist and drew on the card, and I won't explain the picture, but it was very funny. I'll have to show you ladies later. And then they had got me a watch because my daughter paid attention and she heard that Mommy needed a watch. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to wear it because the battery in it was dead, and so I'll have to have that replaced.
Oh,
But they got me a nice little watch.
that's sweet.
Nice.
We're going to have to just go back there and be like,
Yeah.
battery's not working.
Well,
So,
I don't have any stories to tell about anything I got surprised or anything. So
Just the birdhouse. So.
the birdhouse, Johnny Mac did. John and Meredith called me from Kansas, our son and daughter-in-law. That was sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, that was sweet. And then of course Matthew always sweet and gave me a big hug and Happy Mother's Day.
Aw.
And Joey was the first one to say Happy Mother's Day to me. So that was very
probably because
sweet.
he was the first one around you this morning. He's up here pretty early, so.
Yeah, well, I saw Dad first this morning, but Joey was still. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Joey really made Dad look bad. But that's okay. That's okay. I think if I ever got anything to surprise me like that, I would just fall out. So if I ever have a heart attack or something, Dad surprised me with something. So or did something. Okay, enough about Mother's Day. Because it's a sad day for me. I want to talk about, this to me has a little bit to do with Mother's Day. And this is like a joke I hope people get. I really hope you get my heart with this. I know Mo's like, what is she going to say? Okay, but the ABC News editor switched genders. Okay. He went from Dawn to Dawn. So it went from male to female. And I think, this is stupid. It kind of busted up his 17-year marriage. I would imagine that would, I don't know how the partner would be understanding enough to, because you would have to change too, I would think. If you're, like if Joey switched to a woman and you're still married to him, I mean, you would have to make some adjustments. And if that's just not who you are, it would end, as far as.
Isn't there a period of time and a process that usually people that, I don't understand. I don't know anybody that's actually gone through the change, but, I thought it was like a period of time and shots and hormones and different things, especially going from a male to a female,
Right.
in order to have certain things change.
Right. True.
So,
And that did happen with this person.
but did the spouse know about it over that period of time and
You know,
stay, or?
I would have to say so. I mean, when your husband starts getting boobs,
Yeah.
unless you're just
Surely
you don't
you
pay
would
attention,
notice.
it says a
Yeah.
gradual change, or Ennis developed breast, and the gradual change in her personality and mindset eventually put an end to a 17-year marriage. But she came out to her colleagues and actually received a note of support from the president of ABC News. But she came out Friday, and I was wondering, I wonder if she did that so she could get a Mother's Day present. Was that a bad joke?
That's
we're
cheap.
hearing a loud guffaw from the back there.
But it went in my mind. I was like, that timing was pretty good. But can you imagine? And she says, trust me, this is not the midlife crisis I was counting on. I'd much prefer to have bought a sports car, like, a lot of guys do, I guess. But he decided to become a she all the way. And so she sported some heels and a dress and a wig to work. And here I am. My name is D-A-W-N now instead of D-O-N. And so, Monica, hypothetical, pretty much, hypothetical. If Joey decided to just spring this on you, what in the world would happen?
That's hard to know
Yeah.
what you would do or what you would say. I think I'd noticed long before, they were large enough to be called.
Man boobs.
Yeah.
I mean, there are
That
man
they were
boobs.
growing.
Man boobs.
They were changing shape.
Yeah.
They were taking form.
Yeah.
Needed to borrow a bra. Anyways, but I don't know.
So if his man boobs got bigger.
What is subject for today?
He does
Anyways,
not- he doesn't have man boobs. He does not have man boobs. But I wonder, like, what would we do?
well, it's a very hard thing to know what you would do, I think, and to say what you would do. I think it would be totally shocking. And, of course, you'd have to think about how to explain it to the little ones.
Yeah.
But you would, I guess, have to make a decision. Do you love that person enough to be with that person despite what anybody else that you're around is going to say, think, or, do? Because people are very judgmental and, they're going to say what they say. And then you would have to make a choice, whether you wanted this person still in your life in that capacity as your partner. Well, I guess you wouldn't say husband anymore.
Yeah, right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know what I
Kimberly, if Rick came in sporting some stilettos and a halter dress, what would you do?
I don't know. I was sitting here wondering if the marriage would still be legal because same-sex marriage is not legal, but you wouldn't be same-sex when you got married. So I wonder what that would do to.
Good
I
question.
wonder how that affected things legally. Rick and I actually did see a show about a gentleman who was born a hermaphrodite, and it's easier to choose to make a baby who's a hermaphrodite female rather than male because, it's a little. But she was a she. They raised her as a female, and she married or was partnered with the lesbian and decided that she should be male, and her partner said she didn't care. Whether you're male, female, whoever, I love you, and their relationship stayed strong. So I don't know what I would do. I would be shocked.
Yeah.
You think you would notice something, if your partner wanted to change sex, you'd hope that their relationship with you would be strong enough where they would talk to you about it first.
Before they came in sporting the
Yeah,
stilettos and the heels and the
before they started
boobs.
borrowing your lingerie, they would, you would have some sort of clue.
Yeah. Kathy?
Yeah, this happened to a friend of mine, and she and her husband had been married about 20 years, pillars of their church. He was associate pastor of the church, and one night they were just sitting on the couch talking, and he just told her, I'm gay. And you don't know what to do. And she went in her bedroom, was crying, and he was crying, and they just could not see a way that would work for them to keep the marriage alive. And I think he's happy, or she is happy, and she is too. So
Okay, so no,
it's
no,
difficult.
but gay is different than transgender.
Right.
So he was wanting to be a woman.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes.
See, I get really confused. So if you're transgender and you want to be a woman, you are not gay. You're just a female, and you could
I think
go
it
with a
could
man.
Could be
Right.
either. I mean, you could
Yeah.
be, you could be, both. I mean, you could be gay and want to be the opposite, sex that you are. But I don't think it's always that. I think they can be completely separate, or they can be.
Because what is it? LGBT, and then now they have a Q on it for I'm questioning. I'm not really a lesbian. I'm not gay. I'm not bisexual. I don't think I'm going to be a transgendered person, but I'm questioning, and so that's a new letter to add to that, an acronym, I guess it is.
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, it's very, very popular among college campuses because they try to have groups that are LGBT, and now they're Q groups.
So we could be like Christian atheist Q questioning.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Here,
CAC. Or it
just
could
thought
be
about that. Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Questioning, and I often wonder. We have a lot of skeptics that like to watch our shows, and they, to me, even though they don't say this, they think, or they say there's something different. But to me, a skeptic is somebody that would question just everything. Jesus, did he die on the cross or not? I'm skeptical about. I'm not. I believe he did, but just questioning. And to me, if you don't ever question, you'll never get an answer. Sure. And so it's so important.
Or you'll just assume you have the answers, like we did for many years, that because it was in some book that we were told to believe was
Yeah.
infallible and was the Word of God, A to Z, cover to cover. We didn't question, and now when we look back, there's a lot that we're like, oh my, how could I have
Yeah.
bought that hook, line, and sinker,
That's true.
And so, and then we have a lot of people we know and care about in this world that are still very much buying that and thinking we're the nuts. So,
I still say just don't mess with what God's done, and I believe in a lesbian or gay relationship, that has to be God designed. And he made us. He knows our inside and out. If he makes us different, that's just what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted us to be. And so I guess it's for me, it's no big deal. I've worked with both, and they're people.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
human beings.
Right.
They may be your neighbor. They may be just a friend that you meet every so often, but they're just God's people.
that's right.
And
I
that's
was
the
reading an
bottom
article
line
about
for
that.
me.
Yeah.
I was reading an article about how over the last, few years that the approval or the support for equality in marriage has changed, and for the support and equality of just accepting people as who they are, regardless of whether they're, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transvestite, or questioning now. We had the Q. Has changed, and I think the article was saying, if I remember correctly, that it's in a large part due to people actually coming out and being honest about who they are, and because they felt such a stigma and such fear with coming out. And so more and more people are having to actually look at it from it being way over here and far removed from them, like the Senator, I think Portman from Ohio, who actually had a son in college who came out to him. And then he said he had to rethink everything because it was personal now,
Sure.
and it was his child. And, I can't separate it as, oh, well, these people, here you have a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're forced to look at it through eyes that you haven't looked at it through before. Because some people, let's be honest, just have never looked at it through anything other than a religious pair of eyes, or, being told that it was against, evil, depravity, And then there's other people who just really didn't care one way or another, but, they would lean to, oh, it's probably not natural, not normal, or whatever. And, it's just that it's really changed. And they said a lot of that has to do with more and more people coming forth and saying, hey, and then they are faced with, looking at it differently.
Absolutely. Now, here's another article that I got a hold of this week, and I thought this was just absolutely marvelous. If you think about this, think about Israel, think about Jerusalem, and the women were not allowed to pray at the western end of the wall. And now, and they would be arrested for doing so and, persecuted. And now they made a ruling that they even wore like the little skull caps, and they had their prayer shawls, and the policemen actually protected them and gave them like a human chain barricade so that the women, and they've been doing this for 20 years at least, that they can now go there and then without the threat of violence, because there's always protesters, there's always mockers, but they can go there and pray now, and with freedom. And so I thought that was fantastic that that country finally made a decent ruling in the favor of women. So what do y'all think about that? Is it about time?
Way past about time.
Yeah.
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 I mean, centuries and centuries. Okay, let me tell you about this one. Now, this isn't something I'm that familiar with, but I guess a lot of the country is about the dude in Ohio that captured the 3 women, and he, abused them and whatever, and kept them against their will for, say, a decade. I'm not
10 years.
Well,
10 years.
one girl was definitely a decade that he had her.
But one girl, I think he impregnated her at least 5 times, it seemed like, and each time she never gave birth because he would beat her or hit her in the stomach or, whatever, so she would have a miscarriage. Now, he's being tried on all kind of charges, kidnapping in prison, false imprisonment, assault, on and on. But they want to try him for murder based on the fact of killing, and I don't know how old the babies were. It must have not have been that old. Must have been fetus type, but still, baby. And people are sort of up in arms because they think that the conservatives are going to use this to hold it against women that choose to abort their babies. These women didn't choose these miscarriages. A man produced them in her. So this is going to be really a hot button topic. And what do y'all think? Should the guy get, they want to try to put the death penalty on him somehow. and they think this might be a way. That's what they're saying. The prosecution's saying it's just for this. Other people are suspicious, thinking it could open up the floodgates, for prosecuting a woman if she chooses to have an abortion. Kimberly, what's your first thoughts?
Well, that was the first thing I thought of, that they're going to have a hard time if they declare that he did commit murder. They're going to have a hard time saying that abortion isn't murder, because to me the law should be the law. And if they're going to change the law, and right now, an abortion is legal, if they're going to start saying that a miscarriage forced upon a woman is an act of murder, now you're saying that that's something committed against the child, not the woman,
Right.
then you're going to have to use the law equally with other situations. And I don't see how they're going to get away with charging him with murder without there being a change in other laws as well. If they're going to say he committed a crime against an unborn child, then that's setting a precedent that I think is going to have ramifications.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a sticky situation.
It really will be.
Yes, they will be
Exactly.
wallowing in sticky, yes.
I just believe what he did to the lady that was pregnant. He murdered that child. And I know there's a great controversy over when is a baby, or when is it a human, and those kind of issues could even be brought up with all of this. And it's hard. I can understand. It's just going to be a hard case to weed out what really isn't the truth or whatever, and get to the meat of it.
Yeah.
See what he says when he has to come in front of all of this.
And I think another thing, unless they can go back medically and see somehow that she's had 5 pregnancies, I think it will also boil down to where's the actual proof of it.
That's true.
'Cause
we are
Because it's
supposed
going to
to-
be really
yeah.
hard. It will be very much a hearsay thing. I mean, I'm sure the woman probably knew because of changes in her body that she was pregnant. But, it's one of those things. It's how do you prove that when there was no physical birth,
And we are supposed to assume he's innocent until proven guilty. So that's true.
That's true. And, a woman can just say, oh, I had a miscarriage. And unless you have DNA evidence or, I'm talking about in this case, when you can't tell anybody because you're locked away,
Right.
Nobody knows.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, no one than other maybe the other girls that were captive or whatever. I don't remember
don't know.
reading about how they were kept, if they were all kept together or what. But no one other than them, was witness to anything that went on. So there's not somebody that you can say, well, I know she was pregnant and she was taken to a doctor, because I'm
Right.
sure that didn't happen.
No.
And it was proved she was pregnant, and so here's a miscarriage because she never had the live birth, and so
Yeah, sticky
I
situation.
just think it'd be hard to prove, first of all, and second of all, if they were able to prove it, then they're, like you said, the sticky situation of whether to call it murder, because if they do, then whole can of worms.
Yep, absolutely. In India, and it seems like there are a lot of stories about women in India who actually are persecuted for standing up, for being an activist or involving themselves in activism. Now it seems like it's getting the attention of social media because women are speaking up on these platforms where you can just, have a conversation with somebody and disagree with somebody. So, for instance, a woman in India was on, it's called Rediff, I think, or Rediff. It's an Indian news portal. I have to lift my glasses up because I can't see with them on. She was actually participating in an online chat, which everyone should have the right to do so. But she must have been making some, statements in favor of women or, women's activism. And it said a user came on with the handle at rapist and began posting very abusive comments to her. And he finally said, he asked her if he could come rape me using a condom. Well, first of all, if you ask somebody, I don't know, but I don't know if that's rape. But she said she's thick-skinned, but what angered me was that Rediff didn't ensure their guests a safe environment to be able to speak their opinions and talk and be free from abuse, because on Facebook you can report people that are abusive and make comments and things like that. But she said there was no moderator, the chat wasn't moderated, nor was the user blocked, and things went over the top when someone tweeted out the details of her young daughter's school and what class. Now this is a separate person, you know, tweeted these personal details. So she says that the women she sees abused on Twitter or these social media outlets, they tend to be liberal and secular. That's, you know, how they're classified. But to me, if a woman has an opinion, either she's called mouthy or liberal or bossy or, you know, swish of skirt or whatever, like the Korean guy said. And so, you know, what's up that we can't have an opinion about something and say it? You know, we wouldn't think of saying that. I'm talking about people that go over the top. You know, in India, if a man said something, we wouldn't even think twice about calling him whatever. You know, we would say, oh, he has an opinion. But, you know, guess what? You know, today is the day of the woman being able to say things. She's smart. You know, we're smart. We have opinions. We have information. We want to get it out. And they shouldn't be harassed by threat of rape or children's school information being given out. It's sad. India is famous for having attacks on women by throwing acid in their face. I watched a documentary on that. It was horrible.
Yeah, I think I saw
just because she
something about that.
disobeyed the husband or
Yeah.
whatever. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Very terrible.
We've got to do something. Okay, we are all out of time. Hey, we've got some great shows coming up tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you didn't catch the first discussion we had with PZ Myers, you're going to have a great time with this one. So come back at least at 8, and we're going to have PZ Myers on the show. And I believe we're going to be talking about the crucifixion, that's one subject, of Jesus Christ. And he's also a biologist and an atheist, and it's going to be a great show. He's a class act, brilliant man, and we're looking forward to having him on the show. All right, folks, thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.